Stock market is very unpredictable, and sometimes stocks or a fund or an ETF may just be dropping and falling just like that without a warning or without an apparent reason. We don't know what's the reason why this thing, stock or a fund, is falling. And when that happens, as an investor, we always have to look at that stock or a fund and determine whether it's an opportunity to buy at that time or is in a trap, especially for the fund that I'm going to talk about today, because this fund is one of the highest paying funds. You know, he does pay monthly dividend, and he has a really high, he has a long record of paying in dividend. So I'm going to talk about this fund, and I'll let you know what happened. And we're going to analyze and see its longest history of a dividend and also the graph on a chart. So if it's your first time, just make sure you subscribe, because on this channel I always bring I talk about a stock or a fund, especially for passive income investors. And also there's any news and update I always bring, so in order for you to not miss and to be kept in the loop, just make sure you subscribe. And if you like my content, just make sure you like. So let's go. Today, Dividend 15 Split Corp, DFN.to. This is one of the most popular monthly paying fund in Canada, and the price right now is a 640. But look at the price drop, is a 5, almost 6%. It was at 6% when it came up. It retrieved a little bit, but look at the previous close was about 678. So we can see 38 cents drop, and open was 679. Bid was between 640 to 641. Days range is between 633 to 679. 52-week range is 633 to 812. So there's a massive drop there within 52-week drop. 52-week range. And we look at the volume overall is about 1 million, and average volume is about 250. But the volume today was a very high because it seems that a lot of sellers, they just came in and just selling. But on average, the stock, this fund, which is a split fund, actually has about 250,000 of a share being traded on a daily basis. So today we can see the highest volume. There's something that happened in the market today that trigger investors to dump a lot of stock, because that's what happens, because there's nothing really underlying that happened that I can see. So market cap is about 7.66 million, and beta, which is volatility, is compared to S&P 500. This is 1.49, because it's, so that means one being equal to the S&P 500, but when it's more than one, that means it's more volatile than the S&P 500. Of course, doesn't have a PE ratio. When you look at earning per share of this fund itself, is about 2 cents, minus 2 cents. Earning date will be on the was February 24, 2022. For dividend yield is about 17%. So it's 120 because they pay 10 cents a month. We'll look at the dividend history and look at the ex-dividend date is June 29. So this is the ex-dividend date which they're going to pay on for this month of July. 1 year target, there's no target there because it's a fund. So we'll look at the chart right now. Is it today price about 640? We look at the same. If we look at this is the max I looked at. When we look at this chart, the last time it was at this price was in, look, January 1st, 2009. 09, that's when it was. Like that was during the market crash of 08. Look at, that's when it was. So it hasn't gone this since then. The only time it went down was April 1st, 2020 during COVID. It went all the way down to about $5 to $4. But it hasn't gone down since the price that it is right now. That price, it hasn't happened, since 08 market crash. And the last time it was, of course, was the COVID. Everything went down. So, and then it recovered massively. It came from $4 all the way to $8. You can see. So had you bought at this point in May, in April, you would have by April 2022 you would have doubled your money, but also you would receive massive dividend, because at that point it was almost 30% dividend yield. So that's a graph. That's a graph for a long max graph. We look at the year, 1 year to date. It's down. You can see the drop there. It was about 7. It went all the way down, and it came all the way from almost almost $8 to 6. So there's a massive drop there. I'm sure even if with the dividend you received, you still you might be down by now, or you might be almost equal. So what this fund is, I mean, I have made a video on this fund, and if you want to learn more about this, you go on the link below. I'm going to leave a link which I talk in detail about this fund, but we can just summarize here real quick. So Dividend 15 Split Corp is an investment corporation designed to pay monthly cash dividends. The corporation invests primarily in a portfolio of 15 dividend yielding high quality Canadian companies. Two types of shares are available: Class A and Class preferred share. So between these two, they make NAV, or net asset value, becomes 15. So you have to have 15% of net asset value. But we look at the distribution history now. That's because we're investing for distribution, and that's a very important thing. As an investor, you're looking at that. Look, he's been paying dividend from many years, since 2004. He's been paying dividend. There are some periods where he actually has skipped dividend during rough time. If the NAV is below 15, then they usually don't pay dividend. If you look at the fund features, look at that. These are the company that they invest: Royal Bank of Canada, TC Energy, BCE, Sun Life Financial, Toronto Dominion Bank, Manulife, Bank of Montreal, Enbridge, Thomson Reuters, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, which is CIBC, Bank of Nova Scotia, National Bank of Canada, TELUS, TransAlta, and CIA. So more of energy banks and also telecommunication company. That's more these company they invest in. And we look at the net asset value is 15. So whenever net asset value is below 15, they don't pay dividend, and that has happened very few times. Usually during COVID, they had about 4 months, I think, they didn't pay. If we look back at the dividend and distribution, we look at the 2020, you can see between March up to June or July. So there was about 3 months they didn't pay dividend, and then also they didn't pay in October, because net asset value at that point, it was lower than 15. So but as long as the net asset value, so if you're an investor of this fund and you see the net asset value is at 15 over, then you will get dividend at any point. Distribution, net asset value distribution rate is 15.05. So it's higher. The NAV pre-distribution is higher than what they pay, which is good. So that's pretty much what this fund is. And also the other thing about this fund, that it does have renewal date. That means there's a time where it does expire and they have to renew. So it has more complex. It's not your typical like Hamilton covered call ETF that I always talk about, because those funds are more straightforward, but this one is more kind of complex. So if you don't understand too much about it, maybe you stay away from it. But if you feel like you want that much dividend, 17%, it's a great, because it's a good fund, because they are investing in very solid companies. We can see here the termination date is going to be December 1st, 2024. So you have almost more than a year before they can have termination, and they will have to renew. That's just more of a paperwork on their back end. You don't have to do anything when this happens. So that's it. When I look at the news and update, there isn't any news in particular about this fund dropping today. So I'll be lying to you if I tell you what happened. I went to Yahoo Finance. I went to dig deeper and see why this fund has dropped 6%. I couldn't find any reason. So, I just want to give you an update on this fund so you can kind of keep in your watch list and see what happened, because it might go down and it might be a good opportunity to actually snatch up. You can get that 17%, which is about 120 per year or 10 cents per share. So there you have it. I just wanna bring this update so you can stay up to date with what happened in the market. And if it's your first time, again, just make sure you subscribe on my channel and like, comment if you feel this particular video is helpful in your investing journey. So thank you very much for watching. Till we meet again, and bye bye.